So I'm in the new Dynamics AX. I'm going to go and create a new demo user for my environment. So I'm going to do that in the system administration. So I'm going to come down to system administration and I'm going to go over to my users. Now you'll see in creating a new user we can obviously go new for new user. Now the format is potentially a little different. What I can use is for example Azure Active Directory. So I'm going to go and create a user in my Azure Active Directory and I'm just going to do it in the Azure portal. So I've logged on to my subscription here and here's my Active Directory and I've created an Active Directory and I've just called it DAX demo, for example. So I'm going to jump into that. So I'm going to go over to my users and I'm going to go and add a user. So a new user in my organization and I'm just going to call them Frank. P, for example. So I'll go next and say Frank Pink and then Frank Pink is the guy's name, so it'll be user. Now I could turn on multi-factor authentication if I wanted to do that, but in this case we're just going to keep it simple. So I'm going to create a temporary password that I'll use when we log in. Alright, so that's my user created and I'll see Frank in my directory here. So let's go and set them up back in AX. So I'll come here and I'll say Frank P is the AX user ID, Frank P is the username, for example. Now the domain is quite important, so that's going to be my daxdemo.on microsoft.com, which is my Azure Active Directory, and then I can specify the alias, so Frank P at daxdemo.on microsoft.com, and then we can specify the default company, so in this case USMF. Alright, then if they were set up as a contact in the address book, then I can do the association. In this case I'll just leave it, but then we can assign roles. So I'm going to assign the basic roles of employee and no, I didn't do my worker setup, so I'll leave employee for the moment. I'll put in system administrator for the example, and then system users already there, so let's just make it system admin. Alright, so they've got their relevant roles, but obviously not everyone's going to be system admin, but okay for demo purposes. So the user's enabled, so I'm going to save them and we'll see them in the list. So because I've already logged into this browser as me, I'm going to open up my browser, and in this case I'm using Internet Explorer, and so I'm going to start it in private mode. So I can either do that right click, or I can start it in private mode from the little gear icon. So from here I can go and navigate to my link, and here is where I can then log on as my new user. So I can put in my new password. Now because it was a new user, it'll prompt me to change the password, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so we've updated the password, and then we should be able to log into Dynamics AX. Alright, and so we're logged in, and now we can go and do our work. So that's the process of creating a new user, and the key to it is wherever your domain is set up, and so in this case I've used my demo Azure Active Directory, so my users are then put in, and I've got my domain, and we'll see their logon alias. So that's a quick walkthrough one way of adding a user with the Azure Active Directory as my identity source.